I don't have a lot to say about the tag match other than I thought this is going to be a moot point, though. I think Claudio and Wheeler are a great team. I know they have a tag-ish finisher with the kick on the swing. But they're a very good, like, singles guy put together team. They kind of have like there's an all Japan feeling to that. If you guys know that kind of stuff, the tag was kind of like they kind of worked that way. But I didn't think they were going to win. I've talked about tag team wrestling not being in a great spot across the board. It still doesn't feel like it is. Obviously, you throw that match on late, and I'm okay with it because I think it was a backdrop to what came later with the BCC. Who beats the Bucks, by the way? Let me jump on the bandwagon that a few people, including our friend Tom Green, has brought up. I am 100% on board for the Outrunners upsetting the Young Bucks. 100%. The T-Pro just said it. I am on board. There is a great way to tell that story where they go, oh, we have to defend the tag titles tonight. We'll they've completely overlooked those guys. Like they make a point to say it's enhancement talent, whatever. And then they beat them. And the Bucks are shocked. And I'm not saying that's to be a long title reign. But it would get a pop. And by the way, if you believe the reports that are out there, and Swerve even acknowledged it, the Outrunners are outselling a lot of people in that company, T-shirt-wise, because they have some great merch. Sometimes great merch just goes a long way. There are some main event people in multiple companies that have some garbage-ass merchandise with some bad designs. Just because you put a bunch of stuff out doesn't mean it's good. Those guys have absolutely made the most of their opportunity. They're fun. They make you kind of sit up a little bit and go, what the hell are they saying? They don't take any opportunity for granted. And they've gotten over. There is a fun to those guys that, you know what, is different than a lot of the stuff we saw on Saturday night. It is different. It's not as serious. They take themselves seriously. That's the whole thing. In their heads, everything they're doing is serious. Everything they're doing is right. They're the youngest guys out there, all that stuff. Because they take themselves seriously, it's more fun to watch them. They're not playing it. They're not being funny to be funny. They are. They are funny, but that's who they are. They take themselves so seriously. Like, would you even question this? Of course we're the youngest guys. Of course we're jacked. Of course, biggest biceps, all that stuff. That's what's making you're in on it. If they beat the Young Bucks, I can already hear Tony Schiavone's call of that, how excited he would be. There is something to that. Ospreay and Pac had a 20-minute match. They beat the hell out of each other. They did everything that those guys can do well. And Ospreay needed to get the win. He needed it. It's not going to hurt Pac really that much. Whatever. Ospreay continues on. He had just beat MJF. These guys lit it up. They delivered exactly like I thought they did. From a strictly no BS, no stips, none of that in-ring match, killed it. And I assume we're going towards Ospreay and Ricochet. Ricochet is still talking like Ricochet, as we saw. So they'll do their stuff in the ring. Now, as soon as that match was over, I said, good luck following that. And a very interesting match structure. MJF opens the show. Then you go to the tag. Ospreay Pac is the third match. Interesting. So you send Chris and Willow out there to follow that. And it would have been very hard to admit or to predict that they would, because they did such a different match than what we had just saw. Because the feud had been built for so long. They went out there motivated to prove a point. They went out there to deliver an end of feud match. And they did. And they did a lot. And they've both been in street fights, and they both came up together, and they know each other well, and they deliver. That split on the thumbtacks was such a great use of Chris's athleticism and the kind of stuff she does in the ring to work the thumbtacks in to her moveset was so good. It was so natural. God, how many... There's too often when you can see people going like, you can see the wheels turning. It happens on Tuesday nights because it's developmental, because they're still learning. But you can see that we have to get to here. I'm supposed to go here. Oh, wait, we have to hit the spot here. And that happens. It happens in wrestling across the board. But everything they did, for the most part, a couple of slow spots here and there. You know what? In a street fight, I don't really care about that. I want it to be sloppy sometimes. I want it to look like a fight. They had a fight. They had a fight, and they used stuff where they should have used it, and Willow had to go to another level, as happy as she is. Her holding up the light tubes with that picture for the... Like, that's a cool picture. That's a cool image. People popped for that. What it reminded me of was the level that Bayley wasn't allowed to go to. Obviously capable of it, but I go back to that kendo stick match with Alexa Bliss, and she wouldn't pull the trigger. She wouldn't go up there. She looked like a goof. Not her fault. How it was agented, how it was booked, how it was produced, whatever you want to say. Willow has had that happy-go-lucky smile, all that, but she's done these street fights before, but she goes to light tubes. Why? Because Chris did all the terrible stuff to her. And it was one spot, and that was it. And Chris bled, and that was fine. And they did the chain at the end. I was a little surprised at the finish, I got to tell you. To have as clean of a finish as they had, with the heel going over in that way, was a bit surprising. And I wonder where Chris goes from here, because she just won a feud of two of the very best AEW has. And where does that lead Chris? Because Mercedes is a heel champ, and Mariah is a heel champ. So I just wonder where it leaves Chris. That's why I thought Willow would win the feud, because it would set her up for very likely Mariah. But they did something that was not easy to do. They followed two of the very in-ring best in the world. And they did it in a completely different way, and I think that's why it worked. So kudos to them. Absolutely. They deserve all the praise for that. I hope there is stuff for both of them. I think they had a match that blew off the feud in the best way possible.